What's up, everybody? Welcome to Toxic Hustle. My name is J Tragic Jeffrey, and welcome to Toxic News and Toxic Trading. Bitcoin is currently taking a breather. We're going to be talking about altcoin mining, how I'm using a market maker strategy on behalf of Toxic Hustle. This will be towards our crypto trading bot strategy that we're going into this new cycle with. But before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about the news before we get into the trades. So in the Musical Geniuses Discord, we were talking about, I posted this, whereas as soon as these ETFs got passed, the roadblocks faded away faster than a one-hit wonder's career. And what they're talking about is Bitcoin is running out of enemies. All of the banks, JP Morgan, when Jamie Dimon, the CEO, warned his staff that if they were trading crypto, they'd be fired a couple of years ago. We see all that's changed now that ETFs have launched. I told all of y'all 2 years ago, I said that these companies were already buying crypto. The government owns crypto, owns billions of dollars worth of it. And if the government's owning crypto and the banks are owning crypto, and now they're launching ETFs to own even more crypto, so people are flooding their money into buying Bitcoin, there's not many people that can be mad at it anymore. The narrative needs to switch. Now, as Biggie said, F what you heard, who's the best in New York, fulfilling fantasies without Mr. Warp. Everything's changed. It doesn't matter how we feel about it. The SEC has labeled Bitcoin a commodity, hence why it is now being traded as an ETF. They can't hold it down no more, especially with the fact that if you look at how the internet was run, it's the same thing. Where when the internet first started, everybody was like, it's nothing but for scammers. It's a Ponzi schemes. It's full of Ponzi schemes and scammers and illicit activity and drug dealers and blah, 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 blah. Where's all that information now? Where's all that narrative now? That thing disappeared right after they could invest into the hardware or infrastructure of the internet and lock it down. What we're seeing right now is with them having money flood into ETFs where they have to buy the underlying Bitcoin. Once they have enough profitability and profits, they're going to start making the infrastructure plays. And I'm going to show you today what those infrastructure plays look like and why I'm taking the path that I'm taking and being a market maker and using Bitsgap as a trading bot, trading altcoins to buy Bitcoin without it being my money. So I'm not spending $60,000 to get one coin of some speculative asset. I'm spending fractions of that to buy altcoins, be a market maker, make money trading by being the liquidity, and then I can buy and dollar cost average into my Bitcoin without it coming out of my pocket. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Bitcoin's running out of enemies. And then Billy said, I don't hear any news of all the Bitcoinaires or billionaires anymore. And then Immersive said, weird, and it's at its highest it's ever been, which we're close to where it is. I said the feds are hard at work. And then, of course, Billy is talking about the fact that all these side hustles are gone. So Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash. All of these need expenditures. All of these need income, disposable income. If I want to drive to use Uber to go to a bar well, for me to go to a bar so I can drink, I need the disposable income to go to the bar. I need a job in the city so that I don't have to use my car, right? Or wherever I'm at. So all of this needs disposable income. Well, what we're seeing is that's drying up, especially as more and more layoffs are happening. And I said, when in reference to Billy Basson, I don't hear any news about these Bitcoinaires anymore, and basically the Bitcoin millionaires. And I said, because they were all getting murked before the ETF launch. And then I put links to news articles talking about the fact that billionaires over the last few years have been killed or died suspiciously. All before we got to this ETF launch. Now, why does this matter? He asked, what effect will this have on the halving cycle as far as all of the news about the millionaires and billionaires, excuse me. And I was like, it has no effect on the halving cycle. It just means less Bitcoin. The halving cycle just means less Bitcoin will be minted. More perceived scarcity. There's only 21 million that'll ever be made. 19 million is already out and has been mined. 6 million has been lost. Now think about that. 6 million Bitcoin is gone. They can't get into their wallets. What's in your wallet? A locked Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been lost due to no longer having access to their seed phrases, and the last Bitcoin mined will be in 2140. So over 100 years from now was when the last Bitcoin will be mined. Since this is potentially an NSA application similar to the internet, this is just another form of control. The Trail of Tears led to Tulsa, Oklahoma, which we call Black Wall Street. We traded the commodity of the day, which would have been gold, silver, and oil. Today's commodity just happened to be Bitcoin as per the SEC. That is the reason why it's an ETF, is because the SEC already said it was commodity. So they had no leg to stand on. Everything that's been going on the last few years is them holding everything at bay, scaring everybody away because they wanted the banks to be able to get in there and pump up the volume before everybody potentially buys in. And they want them to buy something safe and secure as an ETF, but you're buying paper. You don't own the Bitcoin. You're not holding the asset. Nor can you trade on it or take loans on it. You can't take your ETF stock and use it for a loan. You can take Bitcoin and use it for a loan. So what do you think these banks are getting ready to do? Exactly. They're going to take this commodity and they're going to use it to pump the brakes on the rest of their failing equity, like commercial real estate that's failing, as these buildings are anywhere between 40 to 60% empty because, work from home, because, there's no need to commute to a computer. Duh. So I'm just flipping them birds, and we don't love them hopes as far as coins. I put my trading bot on altcoins and migrate that into Bitcoin purchases. This way, it never really comes out of my pocket. Then next year, October, if y'all followed me in 2021, when I told everybody October, November be out, and I even stayed until December, and then I dipped in December. Because I said, well, the crypto winter was upon us. It's time to get out. Family and friends that listened to me got out and were very happy to be out when they saw the market kept going down, 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 pause. When the cycle's about to end, we go back into crypto winter. As I told y'all, October 2021, it'll be time to get out again. I said, and then let's go down to Said, Mean Gene said, I think we're going through another era of resource wars. The government seems to be extra petty about who's getting crumbs and the extra levels of micromanagement to tax the barely getting by crowd is quite suspect. I said, I have to agree with you on that. The resource now is processing power. Bitcoin really is the gateway drug to some sort of automated economy in which those that understand how to invest into infrastructure will be able to maintain a moderate yet mediocre form of existence while they begin to 15-minute city execute everybody else. I mean, the largest provider of poison is McDonald's, Taco Hell, and Chick-fil-A. But at these prices, people are turning to making their own meals again. So they need to automate fast enough to keep up with the prices as is, or begin to try to come up with these meal deals at lower prices. But that would involve a fully automated fast food restaurant with 15 people as staff for the entire building for the entire week. And that would only facilitate in feeding the robots food supplies and materials and unloading of the truck until, of course, that gets automated. And then Mean Gene says, I'm going to piggyback off what you said. The resource is now processing power. That's a very good point, considering you have to be a master in over and understanding of the technology, which is where the government is severely lacking it, which I'm going to agree with you on that, but they have the CEOs and the bankers who will fund smaller companies to make sure that they're still part of. And then they will invest in these shell companies to make sure they're a part of. So we may not be looking at not only a resource war, but a generational control war. I was like, facto, because on some of those points he hits home, especially with the boomers phasing out and not understanding the tech. We can't forget Warren Buffett said the internet was a fad, and he did. And transitions are always capitalized with the point of least resistance. So when a new thing happens, like let's take the telephone. When the first telephones were rolling back through, that you used to have a operator that would make sure that you would be able to call someone. You called the operator, and then the operator would look up that individual and then send you or link you or hook you into that telephone number. Now we don't do that. You no longer need to do any of that stuff. The point of least resistance is, if I want to make a call, I should be able to just make the call. And that's where we're heading to. You're not going to be walking around with gold and silver in your pocket to trade, to be able to buy things. If you have some form of ledger, no different than what they had to burn down, why they had to burn down Alexandria's library. You can take over an economy when you hold the financial logs of the people. And that's what we're talking about. Digital ledger, the ledger. A financial ledger is now open and available for all to see. This is just a new digital ledger with the governments taking control rather than corporations holding the financial power. When you have to walk in and get a job, that's the corporation holding power over you. You know, the government wants to have its Marxist universal basic income so that the government's wanting to hold financial control over its citizenry. But now they want it on a global scale. You know, you will own nothing and like it type beats. If Rome has been phased out with una sanctum operations and the Pope and his power is seemingly waning, at least in perception, not in execution, since there's still the Swiss banking system and the Bank in Colombia that maintains a district, or Washington, D.C., District of Columbia, there needs to be some sort of financial ledger that can move back and forth across the waters again. This is seemingly the only thing that they've got to be able to do, since Bitcoin can be mined by geothermal, volcanoes, dams, and wind farms. But we'll see the next phase. The next phase will be AI based currencies that will piggyback off of the next infrastructure, which will be GPUs, and it needs to roll out at scale, because it's currently not, to handle AGI, or artificial general intelligence. Then they can get all those programmers that have been locking down their citizenry in where, China, to roll out that software here in America, which we already see the cameras in the UK, and now the cameras are damn near everywhere in America, at least in the metropolitan cities. So why am I talking about all of that? I'm talking about the net. Like, I don't look at Bitcoin as fugazi money. I'm looking at Bitcoin as infrastructure, as an infrastructure play. So let's now talk about that. We have the Bitcoin halving. And what is the halving? The halving is when you have what the current rate of Bitcoin is. Let's find out what you make now. Hold on one second. I forgot to put this window up. Okay. Have there been other halvings? Yes. It first started in 2012, where the rewards fell because it was 50 Bitcoins you earned per mining and went to 25. The reward then dropped to 12.5 during the 2017 run, which is in 2016, that's where I really got heavy into crypto. Then in 2020, the last halving cycle during Rona, it went down to 6.25. The next one, which will be in April, as per the countdown, the final countdown, 49 days, 16 hours, 49 minutes, and 8 seconds, somewhere around April 24th, will be now 3.25 Bitcoin. What does that mean, Traj? Here's what that means. When I say this is an infrastructure play, here's what I mean when I say it's an infrastructure play. Look at the cost of a miner. Now, this miner does, if you think about broadband, if you're thinking about server speeds, if you're thinking about how many users, if you took a looking at social media, how many users do they have per month? In Bitcoin, you have hashes. And how many tera, or per thousand, like terabytes, how many tera hashes can the machine do? Now, when Bitcoin first started mining, you could do that on a laptop, i.e. the 50 Bitcoin. Then as these ASIC miners began rolling out, which this only job is to mine Bitcoin, doesn't do anything else. When these miners came out, you can see that some of these prices, $5,000 for a miner. Or this one, this hybrid miner, this hydro miner, which is you put fluids in, which reduces your the heat. You can ramp up the speed. You're looking at $6,900. So what I did is I did a profitability calculator, because I want you to see how much you would make utilizing that S21 miner. I put that in here. The 200 hash rate that it has what the power consumption is. I used right now 19 cents, which is the national average for electricity per kilowatt hour. And if you can look at this, if you calculate it, and I'll hit it again, you're looking at right now $6.81 net daily, estimated daily profit. So you're looking at, it's going to cost you around $15 a day. You should be making around $22 per day, but your net profit is going to be $6.81. Now think about that. Take that $6.81, and you now have to figure out and do the math and calculation as to how long now, if that stays the same, which as more and more miners go in, that how much you make for this, as more and more miners come online, for as more as these miners come online, this drops, so that you will end up having even less and less week after week, month after month that you'll earn from this miner. You have to buy new miners to then get the new hash rates or the higher hash rates. So you just spent $5,000 to get this miner. And it's going to take you X amount of time to recoup that. You'll do the math on that to see how long it's going to take you to then recoup it. And then how long is it going to take for you to then be able to make a profit? And by the time you're profiting, like, I'll hit it again, we're still right around the same price point. So this is what you have to think of when you're getting into what everybody in this hardware game is now playing. And when the estimated amount of Bitcoin gets cut in half, guess what your profit is getting ready to do? Guess how much your daily profit's going to get cut? So you have to buy with this halving cycle, which I told you the last halving cycle is 2140. With every halving cycle, how much you make gets cut in half, meaning you're going to have to buy new hardware. So as you see, the market is blood red and the Bitcoin mining is beginning to ramp up even more, where more and more miners are going online. It makes it harder for you to get into this, then put up these machines. You have to put up so much investment. You have to, because they're noisy, you have to pay more, like for that one that has the water or the hydro fluid. And that even reduces the amount of sound. So you're going to have to reduce costs by even your electricity, by trying to get other ways to do that, to reduce your costs, to be able to move on and earn higher rewards for Bitcoin. Now, I'm not saying that it's not something that you can't do, but what I do is I'm looking at where can I find a better alternative for me to be able to earn and still be in a pseudo mining thought process. And that's when I began looking at trading bots. Now, as I showed you, that made $6 in a day. They're making around $6 a day. I want to show you something. In yesterday's video, I showed you how I launched Bonk. As I said in the title, altcoin mining, being a market maker, this is my crypto trading bot strategy. To altcoin mine. Rather than me buying a machine and spending all that money up front in upfront costs, and then installing software, and then having to join a mining pool, and having to know all the things you need to do to set up the infrastructure, what I do is I rent by spending money with this company. I'm renting one of their machines, being able to trade using their algorithm that they maintain. And as I rolled this out yesterday, look at the bot profit already. Is that not better than the $6 I would have made if I had how much did I have to spend? I didn't have to spend thousands of dollars to do that. Right now, the estimated value, because the market has gone down, is 166.36. I put 250 in. So now I'm down, of course, $18.23, but that's not down. It looks like you can look at this and be like, well, you're down. No. Let's go to 15-minute intervals. And let me show you all the buying and selling and buying and selling that I'm doing. And when the market recovers, as I told y'all yesterday, I set up my robot so I could take advantage of all this downside. I wanted all that smoke because I only left 4 blocks at top. And in the time that we started, market kept falling and rising and falling and rising, and all I'm doing is accumulating. It's just accumulating and accumulating and accumulating and accumulating. Now, I think we had here, if I'm not mistaken, we were at 3 million bonk when we started. Well, we ended up with another million worth of bonk. And when we get above this line, which will happen if you look at if we go back to my trading charts, like, don't get gas. We're in zones of a dip. And this needed to, I mean, if you look at the weekly, I mean, come on. And even on the week, we're still pseudo up. But even on the weekly, like, we're going to need a break. Like, come on now. Come on. You need a break. But at the same time, let me show you something. See this right here? See that right there? That's next week. So there's a pump potentially back to back, getting ready to come in before that next dip, potentially in March. So you don't think we need a breather? It's going to be okay. And then once it gets back to where it is, when we get back up here, then I will be sitting on way more profitability. And I just let it sit sideways, boys of the day. Let it sit sideways. It's a sideways bot. See? A grid bot sitting sideways. And all these trades are happening. Buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling. Average net is 5% a day. Going up into $15. Bot profit. So you hit 15. Even with the market going down, we're still buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling. This automated trading strategy, $4 here, $11 there, $3 there, and we're buying the dip. And look at this. Look at this right here. This right here, even with the dip happening. Let's go to Suko. Even with that dip, look at all these trades that are happening. All the way back here. I can scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. Look at all the trades that are happening. This is a different way of thinking. I'm not buying and I'm not worrying about hypnitis. I'm not sitting on hopium. Even here, 6 days in, we're looking at 3% average a day at 21.84% bot profit in 6 days. Stop playing. And again, I'll show y'all. I don't got no problem showing y'all what that bot do. We're doing a grid step of 1.89% with 35 grid levels. You don't take the default. You want 1% on that. Right? So when you look at Doge, right? Meme coin. We're looking at a meme coin. This meme coin is doing 2% a day. It's made $37.88, or basically 15%. Look at Shiba Inu. Come on now. Even look at the chart. Let's look at the chart. And we fell out of the chart, which I need to readjust this so I can catch that, because I still have my bear market strategy in play, which I told y'all before. I need to switch some of these that are older into a bull market, which I want all that smoke to the downside. I want to catch all that downside. I don't have enough lines or pips on this either. So I'm going to change all that once. I'm going to cancel some of these because it's 7 days old. 7 days, and it did $106.18. Come on now. At a 6% a day. 71.94, 2.49%. So rather than putting in $5,000, then earning $6 potentially a day, and then you see that it dropped again because miners are going online every day. So we just watched it go from 681 to 667. This is what I meant when I said you have downside as a miner. Every new miner or hundreds of miners that go online or thousands of miners that go online or countries that decide to start mining, your profitability drops. And this is the brand new miner. But look at Bitsgap. As soon as that market surges back the other way, golden. So what's the price plan? You're going to want that trailing down or trailing up feature at bare minimum. And this is like USD. And this is, let's go to the 1 month plan. So it's going to cost you around at least $69 a month. And that'll at least give you the trailing up and trailing down. I don't do the trailing down because I don't want to chase the downside on a consistent basis. I want to mark that and be able to, and like I showed y'all yesterday with the bonk, I want to mark how far I'm willing to drop. But I want the trailing up. I want it to trail and go up with the market. So it's $69 a month. You get a bot in play, and then you get 5 active grid bots. Now me, I'm using the pro plan because I want that 25 active grid bots, which is what you see here. I already got 15 running. So it's not like I'm not eating my own dog food. It's not following my own advice. I'm willing to spend that extra money to be able to have access to buying up as much crypto as possible, to have multiple coins running in tangent so that I can have a deeper portfolio. So link will be in the description if y'all are interested. I just wanted to show you the strategy now because when the cycle turns next year, or as the cycle pumps at the end, as we get right now, I want you to see again where Bitcoin is. If we go on the monthly, Bitcoin is sitting right now at a potential support line. If this was the last 2021, the end of the cycle before I told you to get out, and here you go, you got your crypto winter started here. Now we're sitting, that was resistance. We are now potentially sitting on support. When the rest of the world, when we get to this line right here, things will begin to go nutso. And we're not too far away from all-time highs. This is 68.5. All-time high was 69 and change. You can see it right here. So 69,000, let's call it even. At 69, we are not too far away from that. And again, we have pumps getting ready to happen. Potential pumps getting ready to happen. And then, of course, we'll have our dip. But I bet you they're going to try to get it right here. So make sure that you think about your strategy. You can also get the 12 months and you save some money on that. You get your 25 bots. But of course, you'll have to buy a full year. But take advantage of the 7-day trial that they have so that you can begin to start learning. Watch the bonk video. You can see how I got it on Coinbase. You can get, there's 2 other, if you're in America, there's 2 other cryptocurrency exchanges you can go to. You got Kraken. I think you have Gemini that you can use to trade and get your bots on there. So just think about being able to mine these altcoins, and then you can buy into dollar cost average into your Bitcoin and put that into your private wallet, stash it away, get ready for October, November of next year, where the sell-off, before that sell-off begins, and begin cashing out. My name is Jay Tragic Jeffrey for Toxic Hustle. I'm going to end it today. I want y'all to do well for your portfolios, and I will talk to you again later. Peace.